Dude, I thought it was incredible. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I thought
First
it was.
impressions pretty good.
Yeah, I. To be honest, I was actually thinking about this. I thought it was one of the best comedy movies I've seen recently. Like, I can't think of a recent comedy movie that where all the jokes were landing. At least for me personally, I was cracking up every second.
Yeah, I we'll get it more into it. So, welcome back to Ripe Avocados, episode 32. We're alluding to it a little bit in the intro here. We are reviewing You're Cordially Invited, a new rom-com, kind of. Sort of a wedding rom-com type movie, I guess. It's more of just a comedy, I would say.
Turns
Starring
romantic.
Yeah, it's definitely romantic too. But starring our or my guy, Will Ferrell, one of my favorite actors ever. Reese Witherspoon as well. Some other fun names in this one too. So let's cut to the music and then let's hear what this thing was about.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream.
Yeah, so You're Cordially Invited is a movie that follows Will Ferrell, who's a dad, and his daughter is getting married. And simultaneously, Reese Witherspoon is like an agent at a television station or something along those lines. And her sister is getting married. And they both set a date for June 1st at this place. I can't even remember what it was called.
Palmetto.
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 Yeah, Palmetto. It's this
The most
beautiful little
mid-looking wedding destination you could find.
Yeah, that dock was so shitty, but it's pretty much this like beautiful little villa resort that you can rent out for events, and they both set the date for June 1st to get married at the Palmetto. Will Ferrell calls it in first, so he did get dibs, but unfortunately the lady writing down the reservation died right as she was trying to get a new pen. So then when Reese Witherspoon calls to set the date for her sister's wedding, they write it down, and then of course fast forward to the wedding date, and both parties are there. Chaos ensues. Alligators are captured barehanded,
Yeah.
and people get close to dying.
Yeah.
But it all
Well, yeah, I guess
it all
the
ends
daughter.
up okay.
Yeah, it all ends up in fair, or excuse me, nothing really changes from the beginning to the end of the movie for Will Ferrell and Will Ferrell's daughter and their fiance. They just decide not to get married at the end.
Yeah.
That was a
It
very
was
awkward.
two different dynamics between the two. Reese Witherspoon's family and Will Ferrell's family
Yeah.
extended.
Yes, and they did play very well into those stereotypes. I thought Reese Witherspoon's family was making me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And then Will Ferrell's family was basically her daughter's friends, and they were showcasing this obnoxious bridal shower party or bridal party. But the girl who plays the maid of honor was pretty funny. I loved how
She was hilarious.
she really leaned into she was the worst, but I was laughing at
Yeah, she represented
that
like
stuff.
the TikTok audience / brain rot community so well, I feel like.
That's
literally-
one way of putting it.
Yeah, like when Will Ferrell is just like getting berated by the group of girls, and they just start like screaming shit at him, and she's like, "You're a racist," and he's
Yeah,
just like, "What is going on?"
He was not. He had no filter. Didn't really care to speak his mind, and I kind of like this version of Will Ferrell where he's just a girl dad. Like his whole character was just around being with his daughter and whatnot. And Will Ferrell's very typecast, obviously. Like he's only in
Yeah.
comedies for the most part, but I don't know. This seemed to be more of a mellowed down version of him than I've seen in other movies.
I completely agree, and I think that's why I like this movie so much. It's because when Will Ferrell's in a movie, you expect him to be the funniest, and you also expect him to say the most outlandish shit. But in this movie, his character seemed a bit more grounded, and other people took on that role of saying weird and random and crazy shit. And Will Ferrell was kind of playing that like Jason Bateman type comedic character where they're more grounded. They're just giving reactions to how you would probably react in that situation. Like them all screaming at him or like telling him he's a gaslighter. He's like, "Do you even know what that means?"
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of like generational discrepancies.
Yeah.
In that sort of humor. But it plays pretty well. I don't know if I bought the whole Reese Witherspoon Will Ferrell romance part of this movie, but
I was they were hinting at it through the movie and I was like, she's like double her age.
No, she's not. She's only I think 8 years younger
looks
than him.
it. Wait, really? That's insane.
Why did you say he looks it? Is it because of the fact that he dyes his hair?
He doesn't dye his hair. What are
he
you
dyes
talking
his
about?
He dyes his beard. He dyes his beard, right?
No, he
doesn't
dyes
dye
his
his
hair.
He dyes his hair.
Yeah,
Yes.
his beard and his hair are completely different colors.
I do like how we're sort of talking in circles, but I like how this movie leaned into the whole campy, Happy Madison type vibe that it was giving off. They had all the pieces to just a very nuanced rom-com that has no repercussions. There's not really a huge problem, but it's like it's something really campy that you can watch over and over. Like I think this has a lot of rewatchability to it.
Yeah. And it's not a huge problem maybe for us because we're two guys talking about this, but I'm pretty certain there's a large percentage of women that would not want to share their wedding day with another party.
I agree. I just mean the whole stakes of the movie are not high.
Right, yeah.
There's
no one's
nothing...
getting chained up and quartered or something like that.
Right. From watching... Yeah, I watched like Barbarian the other night to this, and I was like, this isn't even...
Oh,
this
dude,
is like
Barbarian's light compared to this.
Correct. But I liked how they had that geeky looking host guy.
Oh,
the dude who wore every hat. That's part of the playbook if you're making one of these movies. You have that guy.
And they shit on him constantly throughout the movie, and it was hilarious. They're like,
his role is to have certifications in every facet of like freelance work, but he's just the hotel manager here, and he constantly has like a nervous looking face going on. They just bully him, and that's his job. And then we also have Reese Witherspoon's mother. I feel like that's another patented character in these movies where she just complains about everything that was made after the year like 1985, and then that's her whole role. But it was funny. It was pretty funny. She would just ask Reese Witherspoon about her life, and then she'd start talking, and then like drone off and be like, "Oh, I don't understand you when you talk." Like it's just stupid.
Except her son or whatever has a business where he's marketing other businesses to build bigger businesses to
yeah.
And Reese Witherspoon's looking at him like, okay.
she's like, cool. And I don't think he took into account what did he say? Like, it turns out the banks have a huge facet of that market.
Yeah, he's like there. Apparently, there's another major player. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Bank of America.
Yeah, it played well. And then Will Ferrell dropped his title at the end of the movie. She's like, "What do you do for work?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the CEO of American Airlines."
Delta Airlines.
Yeah, sorry, American Airlines.
Come on now. Come on.
On my mind.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious. It was also funny because it was one thing they didn't touch on at all throughout the movie. So in the back of my mind, I was actually wondering what he did for work. I just assumed he was like a retired dad that like misses his daughter and wife. But when he pulled out that M. Night Shyamalan twist that he's the CEO of Delta, I was like, what the fuck? Like, of course. Yeah.
It just plays. Yeah, the characters were fine. I really didn't think they utilized Jimmy Tatro as well as I would have hoped. I feel like he was kind of just warming up the bench the whole time.
Yes, Jimmy Tatro also played a very grounded character in this movie, which threw me for a loop. I was waiting for him to
did.
go crazy.
Well, he
But-
did, and then he dropped the "Where's the." He asked for the shitter in like the funniest way. In the first scene he was in, and the same scene he had with Peyton Manning. He was like, "Whoa, that's Peyton."
Oh
Manning.
yeah, when he's
going
walking, when he's walking by, he's just like trying to get a picture of him. No, hands down, the funniest scene of the movie was Jimmy Tatro when. I mean, it was back-to-back hilarious scenes. Will Ferrell had wrestled an alligator into the bed into Reese Witherspoon's bed, and it ends up like biting her. He goes down to the dance floor. Jimmy Tatro's at the cusp of probably the greatest dance scene we've ever seen in a movie, and Will Ferrell shuts it down. He's like, "I need a doctor. Like, she's been
yeah.
bit." And he, off a 1.5-foot drop, Jimmy Tatro does a superhero landing, and Will Ferrell just goes, "Whoa." And it's just the most, like, out of blue scene. Like, you don't expect that to come out of Jimmy Tatro's character, especially in this movie, but it was just hilarious. I rewinded that part, like, 3 times.
Where's the commode? That was what I was saying before. I had to look that up. I'd never heard that one before, but I'm gonna be using it a bunch. But yeah, the characters are fine. The cinematography was kind of cool. I liked the opening credits, how they made it look sort of like a wedding brochure.
Yeah.
Is that the right term?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
When you get
Wedding
it's
pamphlet?
not a it's just a pamphlet. Yeah, that's probably the
Yeah.
right term. Yeah, that looked kind of cool.
I've been
I
to,
saw
like,
people
one wedding in
complaining,
my
but-
life.
What'd you say? You've only been to one wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they use like the font and everything. I heard people online complaining because the font was hard to read. I didn't think that was true at all. But yeah, it wasn't a really refined movie. There was definitely plot holes riddled throughout this thing, but all in all, the the entertainment value of this I thought was pretty good. Like I said, it's definitely rewatchable. And it's doing it what it's intended to do. I bet you it's gonna probably be a pretty popular streamed movie. I haven't looked too further into the ratings, but I enjoyed it, and I thought it seems like you did as well.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. And I was actually thinking about this. If you just had to rate the movie 1 through 10 as like a comedy movie, what would you have given this movie?
It's probably like a 6 or 7, I'd say.
I was thinking like 7.5 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
It's not better than any of those classic Sandler movies, but it's the same type of vibe as like a Billy Madison or
I might have liked it better than those classic.
the Billy
Adams.
Madison, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not the biggest Adam Sandler guy though.
yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a diehard Adam Sandler fan, but I would go back and rewatch those just because the time since those have come out too, they had a lot more leeway on the jokes that they're making and whatnot. I feel like there's definitely a censorship piece to this movie where they can't really go as crazy as they'd like to. Although Will Ferrell probably just pushes the limit every time he's in anything. I bet you.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. I mean, he called Reese Witherspoon like a skanky old bitch or whatever. That was funny.
And she called his daughter a road whore.
Yeah, yeah. I loved how just it seemed like the writing or like the script had no real direction they were going. Like there was a scene where speaking of which, what was good with those groomsmen outfits that Oliver had on? He was wearing that top
Bro.
hat. I want to say the whole time.
Also,
Those
Oliver
were
never
horrible.
took off his headphones.
Yeah, that was so weird. That was beyond weird. And then he was identified as like making out with one of the bridesmaids right during his wedding.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like one of the most savage things ever. And then it was decided within minutes that it had to have been him. There was like this thorough investigation done by nobody. And the whole wedding just turns into a turmoil. And then Will Ferrell wrestles an alligator in like the next scene, and it's just that whole scene. Like I have no idea what the point of that was.
It was
seemed
fucking
like
hilarious, though. I loved
it was hilarious, yeah. But there was the one part where Will Ferrell overhears Reese Witherspoon talking shit about him and his daughter, and then he like pays the lady to drive the boat by the dock.
Yeah.
And it goes way overboard the next time. Like what does Reese Witherspoon do? She tries to like, she fucks up the cake.
Yeah, and then the bride's face gets set on fire for like a split second.
Yeah. It would have been crazy if one of these so-called pranks just went horribly wrong, because I mean, I don't know. That probably wouldn't have been crazy, but
you wanted to see like 70 people get mauled by an alligator when the dock fell into the pond.
I guess. I don't know. The alligator to me seems such like this movie just reminded me a lot of like Grown Ups. That's the biggest comparison I could probably draw from it. But Grown Ups is a good movie, dude. It's laughed upon, but it's so rewatchable and it's so stupid. It's all about like a random high school or basketball tournament in like the fucking woods, and this movie is literally just about two weddings getting double booked, and it plays pretty well. So,
and what I loved about this movie was the constant up and down. Like, they hit you with the most ridiculous comedy, and then they'll hit you with an emotional, tear-jerking scene, and then it's succumbed right by more comedy. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just a ridiculous up and down.
Will Ferrell masks it pretty well. Like he's getting bullied by Reese Witherspoon, and it's a typical scene like that would be a little sad, but he doesn't make it sad. He just immediately becomes this conniving like piece of shit trying to fuck up Reese Witherspoon's sister's wedding.
Yeah, and then it's back and forth too with her, like her and her families. They start like, we're gonna go crazy.
Yeah, that scene was crazy. They just started beating their chests and like acting like monkeys or whatever. That was wild. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have many more pieces to add here. The writing I thought was shitty, obviously, but
oh, dude, I thought the writing was great. I love the comedy in it.
The comedy's good, but I don't know how much of that was just off the top stuff. I mean the overall
story,
direction of the plot. Yeah. Like, what the hell? Why did the mother not like the resort? That was a big talking point early in the movie. I don't think they ever explained that.
I think... I don't know exactly what it was. I think she just knew it was... they had to do with their grandma. And they... Like, Reese Witherspoon and her sister both loved their grandma a lot, but the mom had a horrible relationship with her.
I see.
So, it was probably just that.
But they were able to mend it at the end.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, with that being said, I think, unless you have anything else to add, we should get onto the scores here. Let's see what we gave this.
Yeah, let's score it.
Entertainment. I said 6 or 7, so I'll go 6.5.
Wow. Entertainment for me was an 8.5.
All right. Characters, I went 7.0.
Characters, I went 7.9.
Wow, that's riveting. Cinematography, I went 6.5 again.
Cinematography, I went 7.0.
Okay, and then writing, I went 5.0.
Writing, I went 8.3. Let's fucking go.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my god.
I'm telling you, this movie was so fucking funny. I loved it.
So that gives it a final score of 7.1 for You're Cordially Invited, which is pretty good, all things considered, for a non-theatrical release.
Yeah,
you know?
straight to streaming, which was crazy. I feel like this could have done well in theaters.
Yeah. I don't mind these movies going straight to streaming, though. A lot of them, if it's done right, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I mean, I'd prefer to see a movie in theaters, but one like this, like I probably wouldn't have paid to go see it in theaters anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Most comedies, you just can wait. Because you can watch them on your phone. It's the same thing. You're not missing anything differently.
And this movie is definitely worth the time to watch. I think it's fucking hilarious. It's free, as long as you
How's
have
the
Amazon
time
Prime.
length? I should have asked you the time length. What was it, like an hour 30?
I don't even know, but I was just encapsulated by it the whole time.
You're like, if I don't have to check the time,
Yeah, exactly.
it's a fucking good movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so we will. So like I said, final score 7.1. All of our scores will be on our website, which is linked in our YouTube and everything that we everywhere we release clips on TikTok as well. So we'll be back next week with episode 33. Until then, be safe out there. Peace out.
Deuces.
I dream of the places I've been with you. How we sat with the street.